This is a Jacob Lipke Studios production.
Ay, caramba! Alright!
Hey guys, welcome back to another Simpsons Tidbits video. Today, we're going to be talking a lot about Krusty the Clown, so I suppose I should start off with that. So, from the research that I've done, Krusty the Clown is based on two different clowns. The first clown is Rusty Nails the Clown, the one that Matt Groening actually says that he based him off of, at least the only one that he's said so far. Rusty Nails was actually a local TV clown in Portland, Oregon, my hometown actually. And it's really interesting because apparently he was a huge celebrity around Portland and whatnot, like how Krusty is in Springfield. Which, that makes sense why Krusty would be famous in Springfield, right? But Krusty is world famous, based on things that we've seen. For example, he's met the Queen of England. He knows the Queen of England personally, and I don't think she really likes him very much. In fact, she was in the middle of knighting him when he got a call and he needed to go to Camp Krusty, in the episode Camp Krusty. So, Krusty can't be entirely based on Rusty Nails the Clown, because there's that whole element of Krusty being world famous, and you could say, well, it's a cartoon, so it's not like it really matters. But, I actually have another clown that fits Krusty's description even better. So, the second clown that I'll be talking about, the one that I think resembles Krusty even more than Rusty Nails, he was known as Bozo the Clown. Now, Bozo the Clown was nationally famous and therefore making him world famous in certain places. So, first of all, that is more similar to Krusty than Rusty Nails. But then there's the main thing that made me realize why this clown, Bozo the Clown, is more similar to Krusty than the Rusty Nails clown. And that's the fact that every TV studio had their own Bozo the Clown. He was a trademark name that was franchised out, and then each of these studios in each of these towns would have their own person playing Bozo the Clown. And so this explains how this one clown, Bozo the Clown, could be in someone's town as an actual resident, like Krusty. He could be famous in the town, like Krusty, but he could also be nationally and then therefore world famous, because Bozo the Clown was many different clowns. Kind of like Santa Claus. And my final piece of evidence for why I think Krusty the Clown more so resembles Bozo the Clown than Rusty Nails the Clown that Matt Groening said he was based on, is that Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson, and the voice of Krusty, said that when he was coming up with Krusty's voice, he thought of his town's studio's Bozo the Clown's voice. He tried to remember that voice from when he was a kid, the studio that was in his town, and the Bozo the Clown that was in that studio. And so not only with that piece of evidence did I learn that Krusty the Clown's voice is based on Bozo the Clown, or a Bozo the Clown, but I also learned that there were multiple Bozo the Clowns in each individual town. And so it all fell together right there. And I'll put a link to that clip below, and I'll also put a link to an OPB documentary, a mini documentary thing about Krusty the Clown and how he's based on Rusty Nails. And OPB is actually a channel that is on like every TV in this area, because I live in Oregon, specifically near Portland too. And I think it's all throughout Oregon. Yeah, Oregon Public Broadcasting. Anyways, now we're going to move on from Krusty, and we're actually going to start talking about computer colorization in The Simpsons. Now, when you look up on Google, when did the Simpsons team start using computer color or computer animation, it will say Season 16, because that is when the Simpsons permanently switched all the way over to computer animation. But The Simpsons actually experimented with computer color animation way back in Season 7. Season 7's Radioactive Man was actually computer animated. And what's really interesting to me is when I'm watching the episodes before and after Radioactive Man, I kind of notice that it looks kind of different. Everything looks cleaner. And I've theorized before I knew about this that maybe since Radioactive Man is like kind of an important episode, I guess, they would like preserve it better, or they tried to, remaster it better or something. But then I learned that it was an experimental computer animated episode, which is very, very cool. This computer animation technique was tested once again in Season 12, Episode 12, Tennis the Menace. And then, like I said, they permanently switched back to computer animation in Season 16's The Great Louse Detective. Now, that's the episode with Frank Grimes' son. But those who know the progression of Simpsons episodes very well can already tell that that is not the end of the story. Because, as you guys would know, The Great Louse Detective is the 6th episode of Season 16. So there's a whole 5 episodes in Season 16 that are still hand-animated. So it didn't really permanently switch over at the beginning of Season 16. It switched over into Season 16. So on Google, it's a very generalized answer, and it's not technically correct. But speaking of Frank Grimes, I have another little tidbit about him. In the Season 9 episode, Natural Born Kissers, Homer actually pulls out a Frank Grimes funeral program. But the last Simpsons tidbit that I have is actually very related to the previous major Simpsons tidbit about computer animation. It's a quote from Matt Groening. And before I tell you guys the quote, I want to explain to you why I use hand animation or cutout animation over computer animation. First of all, I like the look of the paper coming to life. But second of all, hand animation, whether it's celluloid, cutout, anything that's done and controlled by humans versus something that's being controlled by a computer and you're punching in numbers to move everything around, you're going to have human imperfection. Small errors in the animation that give it more life. For example, when my character is speaking, the head moves just slightly. Not enough to be distracting, but enough to show a little bit of life. Human imperfection also adds another element of reality, because things don't move perfectly in reality. They only move that way in computer simulations, or computerized whatever. So now I'll play the quote from Matt Groening, and this is a quote from the documentary My Wasted Life, featuring Matt Groening in this episode. So here it is.
I think the appeal of cartoons is their handmade quality. Regular writing that's typeset is edited, and you can't tell how many hands have messed with it. But a cartoon in a newspaper is generally hand-drawn and hand-lettered. And to me, cartoons and newspapers are like little windows. They're like, there's all these gray columns of type of grim reality and unpleasantness, and then you get these little frames of joy. That's what cartoons are to me. Handmade, undiluted.
And there you go. Matt Groening adds even more reasons why hand animation can be preferable. And I think it's really cool that we have that quote of him, because I don't know of very many artists or animators that would agree with him today. Most animators would want to do something on the computer, or think it should be done on the computer. And I disagree. I think it could be done on the computer, but I think it would be really cool to try to do it by hand as well. So the Proto-Simpsons character of today actually has kind of a weird name, because he's named after his second appearance. This guy's name is the Hypnotist, and that's because he was the hypnotist for the baseball team in Homer at Bat. But his first appearance is here as the Santa teacher. And these are actually his only 2 canonical appearances. He has one more appearance non-canonically in this Simpsons book, The Simpsons Rainy Day Fun Book. Now, I was originally not even going to talk about this because, first of all, it's non-canonical, and second of all, I don't have this book. But when I went to go look it up, I actually found a screenshot of this page that happens to have him off to the side as a little doodle. Now, I don't know if this is the reference that the Simpsons Wiki is referring to. It could be a different thing in this book, but here he is in the book, so I guess this is technically another appearance from him, even though it's non-canonical. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.